lunatic, crazy nut jobs that believe in a false God and they want to kill all of us. They promote terrorism all around the world. These same people cannot get a nuclear weapon. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. This isn't just a phone company. They're activists for Christ, and they back that up by providing high-quality service while supporting the values that we care about. Every year, they give millions of dollars to organizations fighting for faith, family, and freedom. For over 12 years, they've stood in the gap when other companies were too afraid to speak up. And let me clear this up. You're not sacrificing anything when you switch. You get premium priority service with nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. If you have service now, you're going to get the same or better coverage with Patriot Mobile. Plus, you get 100% US-based customer support from people who actually share your values. And switching is super easy. Keep your phone number. Keep your phone, or you can upgrade. You can do it all in minutes from your home. They've got unlimited data, hotspots, international roaming, and even the ability to have multiple numbers on one device. Right now, you can get your first month free with promo code Tatum. So make the switch today. Go to patriotmobile.com/Tatum, or you can call 972-PATRIOT. That's patriotmobile.com/Tatum, or call 972-PATRIOT. So the Iranian ceasefire, the reason that I'm making this video is because I think we need to be updated on what's going on. My clear perspective on this is right now, as it stands, it could change depending on how much we prolong in this war, that I believe Donald Trump is doing the right thing. I believe the officials, when they say that we are in control, obviously because they're not making a big dent in our military capacity of military equipment and military personnel. And so I believe them. I stick with my country. I stick with my president in the fight as long as they're being consistent, and I'm watching the consistency of what they're saying play out in real life. At what point that they're not consistent no more and we ended up in a never-ending war like we were in Iraq and Afghanistan, then maybe my position will change. Right now, I support the president. Here is an update on what Iran is doing, what they have done, and what the military capabilities of America is, and what we're doing about it moving forward. Roll the clip.
Hey, good morning to you, Ainsley. Well, the question this morning for both Secretary Hegseth and the president is this ceasefire still in place? We don't know that yet from the White House. The president was asked about it last night. He didn't answer. A lot of folks are saying different things, but we don't know yet what the White House view on this is. And that's important because U.S. officials told our Jen Griffin that we are closer to the resumption of major combat operations after what took place this week. Iran, as you know, Ainsley, launched a missile and drone attack on the UAE, fired at ships as well this week in the Strait as Operation Freedom got underway. That's to help ships transit the Strait of Hormuz. The Pentagon says 2 commercial vessels have made it through safely, while the president says at least 6 Iranian small boats were shot down for trying to interfere with what we're doing out there. And he warns Iran that it will be blown off the face of the earth. That is a quote from the president if they attack any U.S. vessels carrying out Project Freedom. Now, last night, CENTCOM shared this picture of the U.S. Air Force F-16 fighter aircraft that are among more than 100 land and sea-based aircraft supporting this project, as well as the U.S. Navy FA-18 Super Hornets that launched from USS Abraham Lincoln. Of course, Lincoln is one of the 2 aircraft carriers that are enforcing the blockade that the U.S. has on Iranian ports. Meanwhile, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent told Fox that the U.S. has absolute control of the Strait right now.
The Iranians do not have control of the Strait. We have absolute control of the Strait. We have blockaded the ships going into or out of Iranian ports. Their economy is in free fall, and everyone says they have the high tolerance for pain. Well, their soldiers will not have a high tolerance for not getting paid.
So, Ainsley, we will see the president in just a little bit here. He's got a signing in the Oval Office today. We'll see if he takes any questions about Iran, tells us if he feels like the ceasefire is still in place. In the meantime, the Secretary of War will see first at 8 a.m. at the Pentagon, and Secretary Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, will actually brief here at the White House later this afternoon.
Now, let me put this in perspective. This is what I was observing while I was watching that, is that I know that people are upset about military spending and different things like this. I think that the war is necessary. If we do not take action now, we'll be taking action when it's on our turf. I don't know why people don't get it. I think you should think this through. so you shouldn't have to live in turmoil thinking that President Trump is doing something wrong. These lunatic, crazy nut jobs that believe in a false God and they want to kill all of us. They promote terrorism all around the world. These same people cannot get a nuclear weapon. If they get a nuclear weapon, we're going to be fighting them nuclear in a nuclear capacity. They cannot kill or attempt to take over Israel. It's not happening. As an American, is that our number one priority? No, but it is a priority, especially as a Christian. These Muslim nut jobs are not going to take over the Holy Land. Like, I don't know how Christians don't feel that strongly about that. Let me just say this and I'll move on. You know the silly ones that don't read their Bible, that say we're the new Israel. Okay, just say we are the new Israel. Well, then the land belongs to us. That means that as Americans, we have a vested interest in preserving the land. The land belongs to us if we're the new Israel. Well, so therefore, we should be trying to protect Israel, the land, against these terrorists that go tear it down and make Jesus null and void. I don't get why people don't understand this to that degree. Anyway, Donald Trump responded at the Oval Office or at the Resolute desk. Roll the clip.
They've fired at U.S. ships several times in the last 24 hours. What do they need to do to violate the ceasefire?
Well, you'll find out, because I'll let you know. They know what to do, and they know what to do. They know what not to do, more importantly, actually. And, they fired them in little boats with pea shooters. The pea shooter is a little boat with why? Because they don't have any boats anymore. Their Navy is comprised of, they call them little boats.
Fast
right?
boats or little boats.
And they're fast, yeah. They're so fast that they had 8 of them, and they're all gone. And they're fast, but they're not fast like a missile. A missile is slightly faster. They're all gone.
I don't know why. I love when Donald Trump, hopefully he's telling the truth. I believe he's telling the truth. I love when I hear him talk like that. Screw these people, man. We're going to do what we got to do. I trust our country more than I trust their country. All right, let's get to, I want to get to General Dan Kane mentioning this because you get a different perspective. It's not just the president. It's not just Bassett. It's actually a general who's articulating very clearly the Strait of Hormuz and different things like that. And I think it's very important for you to hear this. Roll the clip.
Gulf of Oman and up in the Arabian Gulf. Since the ceasefire was announced, Iran has fired at commercial vessels 9 times and seized 2 container ships. And they've attacked U.S. forces more than 10 times, all below the threshold of restarting major combat operations at this point. You can also see the group of tankers and cargo vessels in the U.S. blockade line, as I mentioned. As a result of Iran's indiscriminate attacks across the region, there are currently 22,500 mariners embarked on more than 1,550 commercial vessels trapped in the Arabian Gulf, unable to transit. In addition to shipping, Iran has continued to deliberately attack its neighbors. Just yesterday, Iran attacked Oman once and the UAE 3 times, including an attack on Fujairah oil terminal, which was successfully defeated. They also launched cruise missiles, drones, small boats at U.S. forces defending commercial shipping in the Straits, and United States Navy MH-60 helicopters and Army AH-64 Apache helicopters successfully defeated those threats. Thus far, today is quieter. Let me describe this defensive operation just a few clicks down for you. As the Secretary said, Project Freedom is designed to protect commercial shipping and help restore the flow of commerce through the Strait and sustain freedom of navigation.
Now, I'll add this before we get to the next story, but I'm sure the people that have been training all year long, waiting their whole life to get some action, I would argue that I don't say they're having a good time as if they're not aware of the threat. But I bet if you're flying a fighter flight, or whatever you call it, you're a fighter pilot and you're flying one of those jets and you swooping through and you get the really bomb stuff for real, you're in the helicopter doing these missions and tearing up their stuff, I think this is what they signed up for. I don't think they complaining. Especially because they understand the rules of engagement, and they understand that we're doing this to be sustainable, or for our country to be sustainable through our efforts. And I bet they bombing them and having a blast, okay, for lack of better terms.